Well, and can we just for the record, I want it to be on something, and we're gonna make this into a clip. There is no actual way that you are sending a child to a public school system and that they would come home the opposite gender. It's not, that's not an option.
It's not an option.
That is not an option. I don't care how many times Bernie Moreno tries to tell you that it's happening. It's not happening. There's
Bernie
no
Moreno,
conceivable way that this is happening.
No.
Please let it go.
Please, if teachers are buying their own school supplies,
Right.
if you have to get doctor's notes to give your children cough drops, children are not wandering to the nurse's office, not the school doctor.
Right.
The nurse's office.
There is no school doctor, by the way.
Right. That's why I said it that way. Not the school surgeon,
Right.
not the school specialist, the nurse's
Right.
office.
They barely have enough money for paper, for fuck's sake.
Right. And the nurse in a non-sterile environment is not chopping or adding genitals to children. They don't have the right notes to send them home with Tylenol. That's why.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
the
Can you
other
just
thing-
think like 3 steps ahead, please?
Right. Well, and the other thing too is like I feel like they rode on part of a truth that is actually kind of insults me, and that is there are kids in certain circumstances, they're usually the intersex kids who they have ambiguous genitalia when they're born. And they will make a decision. Sometimes they've gotten away from this practice now because they realize that this is not a good practice overall. But in some cases, like one of my followers pointed this out today, and I wanted to make sure, like, if we next time we talked about this because it comes up every so often, that there are children that are operated on. I get like without their consent in infancy to make them one gender or the other. That does happen to intersexed kids with a genetic anomaly.
Right.
That's it. That's the only circumstance that would ever happen, and it would have to take place with parental consent, and it would have to take place in a children's hospital. There is no conceivable way that would ever happen in a school.
And there's usually a window, like from my, and I'm not perfect at this, but at one point I was under the understanding like they wanted you to decide before you released the child
Yes.
from the hospital because it was less paperwork in the long run because you wouldn't have to change the gender. The gender would be placed on the birth certificate.
That's
with
partly
the assignment of whatever you gave them.
Right. And that's
after
partly
that
why they've
situation.
relaxed some of that is so that parents don't feel obligated to make a choice like that right then and there before that child is even home. They realize now that was actually really not a great policy, but that was the long-standing policy for probably 30 to 40, if not 50 plus years. So now they've gotten to the point where they will let the child go home and kind of the parents figure out which gender the child aligns with. And because really, if you're thinking about it, you don't really need to do much until puberty.
Right.
So, of course, at puberty, there needs to be a decision that's made about which gender they feel that they are. And let me just also say that these are just kids with external anomalies.